Now for the fun part, putting them on the cookie sheet. Hey food nerds, I'm Julian Fader, the Gastro Nerd, and it is cold and raining outside, and I just moved into a new apartment in a new building, so I thought, why not take advantage of this crappy day and bake some delicious snacks for my neighbors, and that way they will come to love me, because there's no better way to win your way into people's hearts than through some baked goods, I promise, because who's gonna say no to a cookie? So I thought I would make some oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, one of my favorites. I love the added texture that the oatmeal gives, and of course, who can disagree with chocolate? The best thing about cookies in the realm of baked goods is that you can keep everything in your pantry and your fridge for months. The only two things that are remotely really perishable for these are your butter and your eggs. Eggs you can keep into your fridge for up to a month, that's a long time, and butter also, because it has such a high fat content, because it's essentially just fat, stays a really long time, and if you even want, you can freeze it. It'll change the flavor a tiny bit, but really in the scheme of things, especially just for baked goods, it's really fine. So butter, so all in all, you could have all the ingredients ready to go in your pantry for cookies at any time, which I love because I hate running up to the store. So let's get started. The key to any cookie, you need to generally start with butter. And let's face it, it's gonna be a lot of butter. In this case, this is a cup or 2 sticks of butter. I generally prefer unsalted butter, but if you have salted butter, you can use that as well. But if the recipe calls for salt, just lower the amount of salt. I find that unsalted butter tends to cream up a bit better, but it's not a huge difference. To this, I'm going to add half a cup of granulated sugar and a cup of light brown sugar. It's super crucial that you really cream the butter and sugars together. It's going to give a little bit more fluff and body and air to that cookie. So do that for about on high for 4 to 5 minutes. If you don't have an electric mixer, you can use a hand blender. And if you don't have a hand blender, you can use a really strong arm and a wooden spoon. But warning, I have actually broken wooden spoons doing this, so be careful. Slowly, I'm going to add in my 2 eggs, one at a time. And remember, eggs are the glue to baking. Their proteins will keep everything together, so it's a really important component. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I love vanilla pretty much in all baking. It's just so wonderful. Word to the wise, do read your ingredients, because there's a lot of vanilla flavoring in vanilla extract, and that's not the real deal, it's all synthetic. So make sure that there's actually vanilla bean extract in your vanilla. I'm gonna add I have a teaspoon of baking soda. Baking soda is gonna get the rise in the cookie, otherwise you just have a flat pancake. And then a little bit of salt, about a teaspoon. I love the way salt brings out the flavors, and I almost like a slightly saltiness to my cookie, especially when there's chocolate involved. Of course, you can always put less salt. Always pre-mix your flour and your baking soda and your salt, because the worst thing is if you just have the salt in one place or the baking soda, then it won't rise. So it needs to be evenly distributed. Here we go, slowly in. I have 3 cups of quick cooking oats, hence the oatmeal and the oatmeal cookie. And then a little over, about almost 2 cups of chocolate chips. You can also add walnuts. I happen to know there's some people in my building with nut allergies, so I'm not going to put them in. And how many chocolate chips? The answer is always more, according to my mother. I just never seem to put in enough. And that's it. That's the whole cookie. I have my cookie sheet. First of all, my oven is preheated to 350 degrees. And or if you want them a little bit more on the chewy side, you could do it down to 335. I have my cookie sheet. I have my Silplat mat. It's a silicone mat. I bought these at Costco. They were like, for 3 of them, I think it was like maybe 15 bucks. They're a great investment. Not only great for the universe because you're not using aluminum foil every time or parchment paper, but they make your cleanup so much easier. Now, if you had a super hot kitchen, which my apartment's pretty cold now that winter has finally hit, you might want to refrigerate your batter a little so it doesn't like mush out a bit. But because it's pretty cold and my bowl is good to go, and I'm also lazy and hungry, so I'm gonna put them cookies in the oven. These are gonna go into the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. Just keep an eye on them until they start to get golden. And you gotta taste test. Oh my god. There's like that chewy, crunchy. That's a really good cookie. Now that they're done, I didn't feel like baking off all the batter, and I really love a good warm cookie. So what I did was I took some of the dough, covered it in saran, put it in a little bowl, and I'm gonna pop it in my fridge, or if you want in your freezer, depending on when you think you'll make them. And you can have fresh warm cookies whenever you want. You don't even need to turn on your oven, just throw them in your toaster oven. Awesome! So there you have it, my oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. Any cookie is a great cookie to throw together in a pinch, all with ingredients that are already in your pantry, so you don't have to worry about running out to the store. And it's a great way to please, whether it's for gifts or your neighbors or anybody. It's always thoughtful to bake for people. And it doesn't take a lot of time, so it's really worth it. Thanks for watching The Gastro Nerd. I'm Julianne Fader. Subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking this button over here, and stay tuned for more delicious nerdiness to come.